In terms of creating a sustainable world, I think there are two really interesting dimensions to it. One is coming up with the innovations themselves. So coming up with ideas, design solutions that are systemically sustainable in themselves. So things that either are zero waste because all of the resources that they use are themselves sustainable, or all of the waste that they create then gets reused in either that process or another process. So effectively it's a no or an incredibly minimal impact product or service in itself. But then there's also the second category, which is getting people to use them. So getting people to adopt them, which is, again, back more in the communication terms. But it's about the interface to a service, or the way that it's packaged and delivered to people. So, for example, things like behavioural psychology that I'm sure some people will talk about, the way you can use social norms to influence what people think is actually the right thing to do because everybody else is doing it, will make an enormous impact in what people actually do, perhaps way beyond the rational reasons, or even beyond the product design benefits and features that you've created. My thought is is one of the things I feel that would be really brilliant if there was a change in thinking about the use of creativity and the teaching of creativity and application of it, is that a lot of education seems focused on sort of abstract theoretical problems. You know, it's about coming up with ideas that will test your ability to think and test your knowledge and your you know, how well you've assimilated knowledge and marshalled it and can reapply it, but in a theoretical sort of construct. And it seems, if you like, more aimed at sort of academia for its own sake. So knowledge and intelligence and learning is its own end. And I think now surely is the time to take real world problems, real world social issues, environmental issues, and actually make those the studies that people focus their learning and their creativity on. Especially you've got this sort of generation of young minds who I think would like nothing better than to feel they were actually genuinely making a difference for something in the real world. There's a huge potential for really interesting, useful, socially beneficial, creative solutions out there. And I think if you took that potential just in kind of emerging minds in the education system and applied it to, on the other side, to all of the problems that exist in the real world, you could have some fantastic results. Now you've got this universal access to all different types of media because of the internet and because of this explosion of digital communication. You've got a situation where the mechanism of brands and branding and marketing is really changing. And in this new system that's emerging very, very fast, absolutely consumers are fundamentally at the heart of telling the stories about the brands. So in the old media system, it was storytelling media where you could blast an association and a story about what a particular brand stood for to people through the four horsemen of, you know, TV, radio, print and outdoor. And today, consumers have to be at the heart, really, of successful storytelling about a brand. And that's sort of what makes brands and gives them any kind of relevance and salience.